we've got our all-around vision care. Most of the work's completed regarding the 3 wallet card promotional pieces. You have been asked to count how many suburbs in each major area were mailed the pieces. Although you have not used the count if function, you decide to try it since it follows the same syntax as SUMIF and AVERAGEIF. With the range names, you can easily choose the correct range and criteria for each occurrence. Open Excel. On the totals sheet, we're going to use COUNTIF to count how many suburbs received the promotional piece. Most of the range names have been created, but you will need to create some too. Total the columns and make a copy of the total sheet and display the formulas. Okay, so we're going to use the COUNTIF to count how many suburbs received the promotional pieces. So we've got in Boston, that's Chicago, in Boston, the suburbs, we want to count how many received each one of these. Dallas, Seattle. So we want to start with the tip calculator for Boston. So we're going to somehow create the COUNTIF for Boston. Now let's look and see, do we have a range? Boston tip, Boston multi, Boston sales tax. I'm just making sure all the tables have been created. Okay, you see, this one in Dallas has not been created yet. This one has not been created. So if I go here, I'm going to, it needs to, you can't have spaces in it. So I'm going to have here Dallas underspace multi, okay, let's see what Seattle has. Seattle doesn't have a tip, so we need to create the name ranges. And then from there we'll go to our totals and we'll go and create in the formula a COUNTIF. So COUNTIF. Here we've got it. So our range is going to be for Boston, the Boston sheet, and we're going to, the range is going to be here if the criteria is yes. Okay? So basically, they're asking what locations received the promotional for the tip calculator. Then we'll go and still in Boston decide COUNTIF, the range being in Boston, multiplication calculator, and the criteria would be yes. And then the same would be for the sales tax. Does that make sense? Okay, the goal is to find out how many suburbs received the promotional pieces. So we want to go figure out how many suburbs in Boston received the tip calculator, the multiplication table, and the sales tax table. So we've got to come up with a formula to determine how many did receive that. So they're telling us to use the count if. So it means add it to the formula if they received it. Now, how do we know if they received it? Because there would be a yes there. So what I did here, I'll do it in Chicago. So I'm going to create a formula. I want the count if. I'm going to go over here to Chicago, and the tip calculator, I'm going to add all of these names. And the criteria is if it says yes, I want it to be included.
Star, yes, star, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do the same for the multiplication. So multiplication, I go and click on that range. Here, let me go over here. The count if the range, Chicago, the multiplication, if it shows the word yes, I want it included because that means they've received it. Formula, count if, the range for sales tax tables is yes, I want it. Right? And I'm going to do the same for Dallas. And then finally Seattle. And then I'm going to want to sum those. Does that make sense, guys?